Fans, welcome to Sports Chat. We're here with members of the number 4 in the state ranked Cougars, senior linebacker Nick Bailey and senior receiver / safety Corey Phillps. Guys, it's been a heck of a run this year. Going into this PAL game, you know, the playoffs, you're in the playoffs, but this PAL game pretty much controls your playoff testing. How do you get yourself mentally ready for that?
You just got to go through practice each week, and we prepare about the same every week. Going into PAL is no different, but we know we got a lot on the line this time. So, we're upping the intensity in practice a little bit. To it, we know what we got to do. We just got to go out there and do it Friday. So,
Corey, you're the guy. Just speaking earlier, you're the guy that goes over the middle a lot in this offense. What's the mentality you have to have as a receiver, knowing you're going to take that big hit?
You just got to be fearless. You can't let the way someone hits or the style that somebody hits for you. You have to just. I want the ball every play, but I just go and get it when my number's called.
Now, you both have made big plays on defense in the last 2 weeks in a row. You had the big strip for the fumble, recover, and return for a touchdown. Then you did the same thing on Friday night. What do you prefer? You rush for a lot of touchdowns. You catch a lot of touchdowns. Do you prefer on defense or offense, or you're just happy with either one you can get?
I just love being out on the field. I just want the ball, really. That's why I like getting the ball.
It's the way the best receivers do it.
got to say scoring touchdowns on defense look better. Just because you don't do it as much, it's not seen as much.
And it's harder.
It is.
It is harder, and it really demoralizes the other team. You can do this, take the ball away from, because you both just rip the ball away from the guy, and then you take it and you're gone. The other big thing, Nick, you have your own package out there. They use you to salt away games. Everybody knows you're going to run the ball. What's it like being out there? You know they're all going to be coming for you. You still manage to make yardage. How do you do that? How do you prepare for that?
You just got to trust your blockers in front of you. Like you said, they know I'm getting the ball and I'm running with it because that's all we do out of it. And, just you got to trust your blockers and hope that you're one-on-one with somebody. And I think I can beat pretty much anybody one-on-one.
Now, Corey, you've seen a lot of action, but you seem to draw a lot of the better coverage too. It seems like from the other team, I guess. They know who you are. They see your size. They're like, we have to keep the ball out of this guy's hands. What's that like to be out there on the field, knowing that they probably put their best defensive back on you, and there's a good chance there's a second defensive back or outside linebacker that's there to cover you too?
I like the challenge. They've been doing that ever since the Cumberland Gap game. They've been putting their best guy and another one on me, which that's opened up other guys. But when my number's called, I just got to go up and make a play.
That's definitely the offense to be in for a receiver. So I know there's a bunch of you out there. All of you, get the ball pretty equally distributed, and it does make a big difference when there's the threat of you out there. They have to cover you with 2 people. They have to cover Trey with 2 people sometimes. That means one of you are always going to have single coverage. And that makes it hard on the defensive stop. I would hate to be a defensive coordinator facing you guys. I wouldn't really like to be an offensive coordinator having to prepare for you in the secondary or for Nick back there either. And in your case, Nick, you make just a high volume of tackles. How much does your defensive lineman help? Christian, Bresnell, he's lined up down there, Andrew.
Oh yeah, they're up front. They're taking on doubles for me all the time. They're constantly just keeping me unblocked so I can run around and make those plays. I get most of the credit, but nobody ever looks at those guys because they keep them off of me. It's not too hard to run around and just make the tackles. It's just you got to give some credit to the big guys because they free me up a lot.
That's a point we often try to make, that you make great tackles, and it's hard to make those tackles, but those defensive linemen, they really help. There's big Christian. I watch Christian a lot, and it does seem like he gets an inordinate amount of double teams. They pretty much have to double team him with his power out there. And I know you all hit the weights hard. How much has Matt Price's training program really helped you in the last couple of years?
Physically, it's changed us completely. Like everybody's just got so much stronger as a team. The team speed's so much better now. I'm sure you can tell. I know I can just playing with them all, but just the off season, the weights and everything. It's just the team has just changed completely physically.
And Corey, you had to play a lot both ways. What do you do more in practice? Do you practice more with the defense in practice, or do you do more on the
Probably more defense. Coach not really throwing the ball on offense that much. He kind of knows what I'm capable of. So I kind of just, I mean, if I don't get the ball on offense, I'll try to go get it on defense.
You know, Campbell County's defense, you're putting up amazing numbers. Last I looked, you all were third in the state in points allowed in 5A. And the offense is doing a great deal. You were third in points scored. You're the only team in the top 5 in both categories. In both, and that's just another part of the amazing and record-breaking season that you all are a part of. I'm glad that, you know, what's it mean for you two? It's your senior year to be, this is just a big coming out. You know,
Definitely couldn't ask for a better way to be leaving out. This last year's no doubt been the best one ever, and we're probably the reason for it. You know, the seniors going out, we've set the stage for the upcomers.
Now, speaking of which, you all are part of an unusually small senior class. Is it a pretty tight-knit group of seniors there? 'Cause I noticed on senior night during the football portion, probably one of the smallest I've ever seen, which, you know, is good for the future, but, you know, how is that with you guys as seniors? I know a lot of you have had to have played together for a while.
Yeah, most of us, we've all played since middle school together. There's only a few from the fall in our senior class, so we pretty much grew up together, going to Jacksboro and everything. So yeah, it's a small class, but I think this class has actually got a lot of talent in it, and it's definitely pushing us through some of these tight games. So
anybody who watches the game on Friday night, and you know, just amazed at the defensive improvement. You know, you have Christian up there on the front, you in the middle, then you in the backfield. And it seems like you three make so many big plays all the time. Andrew, Evans, and others, some huge plays.
Hiding in the parking lot as we speak,
Andrew will be on next week, though.
whether he wants to be or not.
He may not say anything, but and Corey, you make the big, like I say, you make the big catches when the offense needs a catch on 3rd and long. They're looking for you, and it's tough catches. It'll be hard to replace you all next year. And it's a small group, but you make such a big impact in every game on both sides of the ball. Nick, with your, do they have a package like yours in place with a backup that can possibly run it?
I guess the next best would be Austin, because he's a pretty mobile linebacker too, and he's pretty thick. So.
He actually saw a lot of ball carrying in middle school
Yeah.
too. So he's, you know, we've talked about Austin somehow. You know, he's pretty much the one you look at to step up and be the next linebacker
Campbell County has been
that
blessed.
kind of sets the tone.
Just amazing linebacker talent the last few years. Slayton and Jordan Kendrick when he was able to play, and you, and now Austin coming up. And Elijah Powell looks pretty good out there too, a lot. So hopefully the future's bright. I mean, you all are going to be, you know, so it's small in number, but a huge gap in the stats that this team puts up is going to be going away. I mean, Corey here has around 600 yards receiving, and I think maybe 7 or 8 touchdowns on the season on offense, plus he has a couple of defensive touchdowns. Nick has about 10 or 12 touchdowns this year, rushing the ball, and then plus his defensive touchdowns. And that's a lot to, you know, big shoes to fill. And after this week's game against Powell, and you start in the playoffs, you know, your season can be over at any time. So how much more does that motivate you when you get to the playoffs, knowing that could be every game could be your last game?
Well, it's kind of at the back of your mind. You don't want to really, you're kind of scared of that. But I mean, it motivates us a lot knowing that we came so far. We're not just going to lay down unless some team beat us, you know, not getting the best of us. We're going to give it everything we have, just like we have all 9 games so far.
That's it makes a big impact when you have that kind of attitude about it. The other thing, the fan support this year has been pretty amazing. Just the game against Oak Ridge, it's kind of funny. We had some Oak Ridge people that I don't know if they had maybe not a good understanding of football. I mean, they're pretty nice fans and all, but they couldn't understand why Campbell County Stadium was so loud when Oak Ridge had the ball on offense in the 4th quarter when they kept having to punt it. You all kept getting the stops. How much big of an impact does that make when you hear the fans just giving it to the other team when you're on defense trying to get a stop?
Fans are definitely loud. You know, you hear them down there on the field, and I mean, people, when you're in the game, you know, you don't really hear it as much, but I guarantee you their offense heard that, because I was noticing when I was on defense, and it kind of takes a lot for me to get off my focus a little bit, but those fans were going nuts, and that's a home field advantage right there.
You got that for at least a playoff game, hopefully more. as it comes up after the Powell game.
Of course, and we talked about this a little bit before we went on the air. You know, you all will most likely be playing on the next level. You know, there's several colleges out there. I know you said you recently visited Tennessee Tech. Is there any college in particular that you just think this is where I want to go? This is where my dream football destination would be?
Not really. It's just the ones that take more interest in me and the ones that I take interest in. Just, I mean, everybody's a ball fan, but you know that's a big kid's dream.
Right.
So, you know, I'd love to play football at the next level, and I hope and plan to.
There's not a ton of available opportunities at the Division I level, but there's a lot of divisions. And any place you can go that's willing to pay for your education and let you play football, because you know Patrick recently has his semi-pro team that's coming around, but it's usually rare to play football again after high school for anybody. That's, you know, it's a sport that you don't get to play after high school.
Yeah, you don't get to play real football
willing to play.
very often once your high school
If
career
you all
is
get
over.
4 or 5 extra years in another system and get some education paid for you, that's doing better than almost anybody else in the country is ever going to get to. Well, you have any further questions, Pat?
No, I'm going to talk just a little bit. You know, of course, Jacksboro was the runner-up Team SAA this year against Oneida. They had a good run this season, and I hated to see the Eagles lose, but you know, in the end, only one team gets to walk away with the trophy, and that's the other big piece of sporting news this week.
Well, that is the big thing about football, and it doesn't. This season will be a record-breaking successful season for Campbell County, whether you win the state championship or not. Only one team out of East Division is ever going to get to do that, and it's tough to be that team. It's tough to be that team every week. And as we pointed out with Anderson County, I feel that you all are a better team than Anderson County. I feel that you outplayed Anderson County. That's just my opinion. But you know, you still lost the game, because that can happen sometimes. You can be the better team and lose the game sometimes. And hopefully that doesn't happen in the playoffs, and nothing more would make me any happier than seeing you all out in Murfreesboro.
It's actually in Cookville.
Or Cookville, pardon me, then they moved to Cookville. But to see you all play for the state championship would be amazing. But it's been an amazing
That's what I'm
season.
hoping for.
Wonderful to watch.
A lot of
So
fun
glad
this
that you
year.
two have gotten to be, you know, the senior leaders on the team that did that. I know that they say that the coaches tell us they can't speak highly enough of both of you, the impact you have on the team, just by your leadership. That's something that we're privileged to get to saw this year. So thank you all for that.
And fans, we'll wrap that up this week. I want to thank Nick and Corey for being here. Whether he knows it or likes it or not, we're going to have Andrew Evans on next week and Big Christian Monday. And fans, will see you then.